Today, I'm sharing 10 tips to help you get better results in Midjourney. There's a lot more where these came from, so if you find these tips helpful, be sure to check out my channel and community for more. My first tip is to use HD mode. HD mode is available with Midjourney's series of V8 models, and I use it for pretty much everything. I'll be sharing examples from V8.1 throughout this video, but all of these tips should apply to near future models as well. HD mode natively renders your images at 2K resolution versus SD or standard resolution mode, which is 1K. My experience with HD mode so far is that it's great at producing cleaner illustrations, especially when there's more complex line work and ornate details involved. I also find that I get better hand and body coherence, and this is especially true for images that have a lot of small faces. Everything just looks better. And as of filming this, V8.1 doesn't have an upscaler yet, so if you create in HD mode, your images will already be at the same resolution as an upscaled V7 image. You can set it as your default mode by selecting it here in your settings, or just add --HD to your prompt. HD mode is slightly more expensive compared to SD mode in previous models like V7, but you're getting twice the resolution for about 1.5x the cost compared to a standard V7 job. HD mode does run in relax mode too, so if your plan has relax mode, you can make HD images without using your monthly fast hours. Next, when you want something specific, be specific. If your prompt is too vague, Midjourney might not fill in all of the details in the way that you want. Now, this doesn't mean that you need to write a novel, I don't recommend that, but take advantage of the newer model's improved prompt adherence by getting more specific with your prompt. Do you want a cartoon, or do you want a 1970s animated cartoon style with cell shading? There are a lot of different cartoon styles. Models like 8.1 are much better at understanding and actually following what you're asking for compared to previous models. So if you have a clear idea of what you want, give Midjourney a clear and concise prompt. And for more complex scenes, especially with ones with multiple characters or elements, try breaking the composition into sections. Instead of relying on a single phrase like over the shoulder shot, for example, describe it like I did with this example here. I describe what's on the right, on the left, and in the foreground, and I'm giving Midjourney additional details that help anchor those positions and the fact that the image contains two people. Number 3, try using raw mode or a lower stylized value for more control. If your clear and concise prompt still isn't getting you the results that you want, adding raw mode or lowering your stylized value can help improve prompt adherence. Midjourney is always trying to balance following what's in your prompt and making aesthetically pleasing images. Sometimes its default aesthetic pulls the results too far away from what you specifically asked for. If this is happening to you, first try adding --raw to your prompt. Raw mode also works really well for photographic style prompts, or sometimes what works better is lowering your stylized value to help Midjourney focus more on your prompt text. The default value for Stylize is 100. Try dropping it to 50 or lower and see if that helps. I do have a free PDF guide with every Midjourney parameter that I keep updated anytime a new model or feature comes out. It's a great resource, so I'll leave that link below. Next, Midjourney has significantly improved their text rendering capability where you can now prompt for full sentences, and it does a pretty good job. Previous models like V7 did okay with short words and phrases, but longer text was pretty unreliable. Although 8.1 is a huge improvement from V7, it can still occasionally drop or duplicate words, especially when you have multiple long sentences. So if Midjourney is struggling to get your text 100% correct, I do find that lowering my stylized value to 25 or even all the way down to 0 can be really helpful for getting the cleanest text results. Number 5 is all about the Describe feature, which recently got a great update. Describe is Midjourney's image-to-text model. To use it, you can drag an image up to the prompt bar and drop it into the Describe box here. It'll give you 4 prompts based on what it sees. You can click one of the prompts to add it to the prompt bar, or click this button to run all 4 at once. This newest version of Describe is much better at generating clear and concise prompts that work really well with the newer models. I have a whole video on Describe that you can go watch, but it's really helpful to see how you might want to structure a prompt or details to focus on to create similar images. Describe is not meant to exactly replicate your input image, but it can be really helpful for brainstorming and crafting different prompts. One of my favorite things to do is take an image that I really like from an older model, drop it into Describe, and then run those prompts to see what they would produce in a newer model like 8.1. Number 6 is conversation mode. I don't think that many people realize Midjourney has a conversation mode. Instead of writing a prompt like normal, you just describe what you want in natural language and Midjourney figures out the prompt for you. So it's chat style prompting that you can activate by clicking this speech bubble up here. Once conversation mode is turned on, it will have memory during your session. So you can ask it to make up a fantasy character and place them into an action scene, let that run. Then after seeing the results, maybe you decide that you want them in the desert instead. So you can just tell Midjourney to change it to a desert scene. I have an older video where I demo conversation mode and draft mode together in V7. I'll link that below so you can see more examples of how it works. The next tip has to do with using film and camera phrases in your prompts. Including a specific film type or camera in your prompt can help you get closer to the vibe that you're going for. These are some examples from my November prompt guide. I really like including Kodak Portra 400 film in my photography style prompts just to help brighten up the overall scene. Or creating images with unique camera types like a pinhole camera, for example, can be fun. So referencing different film stocks or cameras can help you, but they are approximations. There's a lot of overlap between what different film types and cameras can produce. Midjourney does not necessarily understand all of the nuances there, but it's pretty good at applying the sort of typical aesthetic for whatever film or camera you're giving it. For example, Midjourney understands that Kodak Tri-X 400 is a black and white film, but it's not necessarily going to pick up on more unique characteristics like contrast and film grain. If you want more contrast or heavy film grain, often you need to include that directly in your prompt, but these terms and phrases can be helpful and guide Midjourney in the right direction. Number 8, try using an image prompt. I think image prompts are one of Midjourney's most overlooked features. I just did a whole video on it a couple of weeks ago. Unlike a style reference which pulls in style or an omni reference which pulls in a specific subject, an image prompt loosely pulls from the whole image at once. So sampling the composition, color, texture, subject matter, everything. A couple of my favorite uses are blending multiple images together to create something new. You can do this with or without a text prompt. Image prompts can also be helpful for guiding body positions and face expressions. To set up an image prompt, just drag your image into the image prompts box here, add your text prompt and settings, and submit. I'll link my full image prompts video if you'd like to learn more, but they're really worth exploring, especially if you've never tried them before. There's a lot that you can do with them. Next, if you have old SREF codes that don't work in the V8 models, here's what to do. So I'm talking about codes from V6 that use the older SV4 style reference system. So not the codes that you'd find in the Style Explorer right now. Those ones work fine in V8. And if you're unsure what any of that means, I have a video on style reference systems that I'll link below. But if you have an old SREF code that's not giving you the same style anymore, here's a workaround. Find an image that you created with that SREF code, one that you really like and feel best represents that style, and then use that image as your style reference instead. To keep things organized, you can create a folder in your gallery where you keep the representative images from your old SREF codes so you don't have to keep hunting them down all the time. Then whenever you want to use that style, just drag the image into the style references box and run your prompt. A much looser alternative is to add a few of those images to a mood board, but keep in mind that mood boards are less strict about adhering to a specific style. That's really what style references are there for. And my last tip is to use permutation or batch prompts to test multiple ideas at once. Permutation prompts use curly brackets with comma-separated items. Here I have 3 items inside the curly brackets with some additional prompt text on the outside. When I submit it, Midjourney runs 3 prompts, one for each item that was inside the curly brackets. So it's a great way to submit a bunch of prompts at once and test out different phrases or parameter settings. You can only submit batch prompts in fast mode though, so be careful with how many jobs you're submitting at once because it does use your monthly fast hours. If you want to get more out of Midjourney, I do have a Patreon community where every month I release detailed prompt guides, tips, and tutorials. Last month's prompt guide focused on face expressions, and I released a free video walkthrough of the entire guide. So if you like my teaching style, go check that out, or check out my beginner course, which includes updates throughout the year. If this video helped you, please give it a like and subscribe for more. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.